Hey, how's it going? I have been poking around on the old eBay looking for items in bad brands. Some might call them ass brands, even, that are potentially worth selling. And I found a few candidates. These are not going to be 100% sell-through. They're not going to be worth a ton of money, most of them. I was looking for stuff that was okay money at maybe like a 50% sell-through. Stuff that if you found it, nobody else is going to be looking for unless they've watched this video. And the general population doesn't clock it as like a good brand. So there are advantages to looking for stuff like this, and I'm just always kind of curious about these items anyway. The first one is kind of a cheat. It's a 3XL size, Izod, whatever. Most of these are shirts. 100% sell-through on Izod 3XL. The reason this is a cheat is that for most brands, 3XL is a sweet spot size and bigger. And big sizes like the Ralph Lauren 3XB for big or 3XLT for long, tall. The big stuff sells better. This is just a known axiom in men's clothing reselling period. So take that, apply it to other brands. It's probably the case. In my research, I found that 3XL is like the best size. It usually sells better than 4XL, 5XL. I think it's just more common. It's the size that flips most readily, I think. Some of these searches I included new with tags. Some are just pre-owned because the numbers are bigger or smaller in terms of like the quantity. But something like this, like a 3XL Izod vest, 3XLT rather, sold brand new for 36.5 bucks. Not bad. If you found that for a couple bucks at a garage sale, then that would be a good flip. And just because it has the ass stamp, will we call it a tramp stamp? No, we won't. Making an executive decision. The ass stamp. It's much clumsier, more unwieldy, just like your ass. Faded Glory overalls. This is another cheat. Overalls are rare, even in really terrible brands such as Faded Glory. Faded Glory is one of the worst. There were some brands that I was looking at that yielded nothing, and I would spend like at least 15-20 minutes on each of these brands. I'm trying to think. St. John's Bay is just straight garbage. Just don't bother at all. Or at least I couldn't find anything. Not one little pinprick of light in the facade of misery. But overalls typically are good. Denim overalls, the category sells it more than the brand. The brand definitely helps. Definitely helps. If you look here, vintage sold for around 37. This sold for around 30. So you're not getting crazy money. Maybe another garage sale item. Maybe this is, I don't know. I would say you're probably unlikely to find overalls that often at thrift stores. I didn't find them that often at thrift stores because they're purchased by everybody who wants to look like a painter. And they have utility value, so they're in pretty hot demand. I think we are getting into, yes, the rare bolos. These are the real money, figuratively speaking. Y2K, very relatively powerful keyword in the Faded Glory brand. If you look at this, 110 sold to 239 actives. That's not monumental, like I said, but compared to the rest of the brand, that is astronomically higher of a sell-through. Some of it is legitimately from the Y2K era, like these carpenter jeans, looks like, or cargo jeans. These are from, I don't even know, is that Y2K? It doesn't exactly look like it. But this is the Y2K aesthetic, the big cargo pockets. They're kind of a baggy cut. This is still really hyper popular with younger people. It's very on trend still, this baggy look. So may the power of that keyword serve you well. Use it wisely. Don't apply it to stuff that's just junk that doesn't make sense. But look at this. A t-shirt sold for 22 bucks. Probably legit vintage. Legit vintage. Faded glory. Yeah, that's a vintage tag. And again, the Y2K aesthetic. If you don't know what Y2K means or what it looks like, it means year 2000. It means early 2000s, like pre-2008, I think. 2007, 2008 is the cutoff or something. The early 2000s, spiky frosted tips, shit that you wore in middle school, stuff like this. There are probably style guides that can clarify online more clearly than that little nutshell. That'll get you started. George, believe it or not, has at least one bolo, the wax jacket. This is waxed cotton. Most brands, if you find waxed cotton jackets, trucker jackets or chore jackets, probably a good sign that it's worth good money. I've seen waxed jackets on par with leather jackets and straight denim jackets in terms of how much they sell through in the really upscale brands, the kinds of brands where this stuff sells for like over 500 bucks. The wax jackets, even with some brand, I'm trying to remember which one specifically, but they're not popping immediately to mind. There are some brands that specialize in waxed cotton stuff, and those are especially valuable. This is going to be hard to explain how to spot it, but it's like glossy denim-ish material. I think there is such a thing as waxed denim also. It's I don't know how, it just has like a different texture. It's smoother, waxier. Maybe that's a good adjective. And this person used stock photos. I don't think that that is wise to do, but it has this looks like a blanket line or flannel lining. That's sold for what? Almost 30 bucks. Not bad. And that was brand new. This one sold for, I don't know, just under 20. This sold for, yeah, so again, like this is not going to pay your rent. This is not a huge windfall. But if you just so happen to find this, then it maybe, you know, you can flip it. Not the most astonishing bolo in the world, but you know, every little bit helps. It really does. You'd be amazed when you learn about this stuff, you go out, and then suddenly it just leaps out at you because it's in your selective focus, and you can name it, and therefore you see it. Here's another good little, sometimes effective hack, I guess, or something to keep in mind. Cargo camo, really powerful keywords. Sometimes we'll carry these items in these ass brands. Hollister, solid ass, very assy brand. And the sell-through on this is really decent. Nearly 100% sell-through. And I know that there are quibbles about if this is technically sell-through. There are different schools of thought, I guess. I just call this sell-through because you can eyeball it, and maybe I probably have done a video at some point, maybe I will in the future, but this is what we call sell-through rate. So decent prices here, you know, just over 20 bucks on that one, pre-owned. Same here, same there. Some of these are sweats, some of these are shorts, some of these are jeans. The camo cargo, it kind of fits into the Y2K thing too. These are not being worn by hunters probably. They're not buying Hollister because that's soy, I would presume. And yeah, these are being worn by 22-year-olds. Doesn't always work with these ass brands, but sometimes it does. Camo or camo cargo, or cargo period. Those are really good keywords to know. Military jackets also, same deal like with the waxed cotton jackets. Military jackets can be decent. I think that sell-through rate has dropped since I did this research a couple nights ago. But maybe not. No, that's like okay. That's still just south of okay. That's like verging into not great territory. However, here's one that sold for like 85 bucks. Why did it sell for 85 bucks? It's rare, apparently. Probably not. They probably just said that. I don't know. We'll give them the benefit of the doubt. We won't throw this person under the bus. Maybe I'm not up to date on my Hollister, like the specific items. So what do I know? But yeah, military jacket. Again, Y2K, I would say. I would maybe, I don't know. Am I talking out of my ass about the ass brand? Possibly. I feel like this is Y2K. Oh, if you don't know what a chore jacket is, I used that phrase earlier. It's kind of like this. This is thicker than a chore jacket, but it's like a basic thickness of fabric, almost like a shacket. No, this is wrong. It's like a heavier twill. That's right, because it comes from France. It comes from French agricultural workers who would wear it out in the fields when they were harvesting berets. They're jackets, often canvas, that have multiple large pockets on the front, oftentimes 4 pockets like this. I would call this a chore jacket because you could get away with it, even if it is not technically a chore jacket. I think it is technically actually a chore jacket now that I'm looking at it, because chore jacket is a really powerful key phrase. Military jackets and Hollister. Can you get away with calling a jacket a military jacket? Then probably do it. Sweatpants also can be pretty good. The athleisure thing is a hangover from COVID. I'm assuming people got used to wearing sweatpants and hoodies, and it just stuck. Those are 2 still relatively high demand categories in a lot of brands, including Hollister. About 50% sell-through. Not phenomenal, but it's not completely insane to put something like this in your inventory. If it's something like that, you can't see my hand, but I'm pointing at the camo joggers here. You remember what we just learned? The camo, are they cargo? No, they are not. But camo sweats with a big belt, the built-in belt. If you found this for whatever, $1.50 at the bins, I would probably do it, maybe, if that fits your model with the margins. A lot of people go for higher ASP, average sales price. Lots of reasons to do that, but if you're not, if you're just going for bulk, for quantity over quality, then maybe that's a good one. More camo cargo pants, apparently. Old Navy, 27 sold to 36 active. You're seeing the power. You're feeling the spirit, the camo spirit flowing through you. Old Navy camo cargos, decent, pretty decent. This is, again, I'm gesturing at the pants. Like 20 bucks, 25, 30 bucks, potentially. Old Navy is one of those ass brands that has these little verticals, these little sniper shots that you can take. This is one of them. Old Navy Rave. Rave gear. I'm not totally sure why. To invoke the Y2K thing again, I think it does have to do with that. It's the baggy aesthetic. Rave pants. I guess rave jackets too, but especially rave pants are super crazy baggy. There are a couple brands that would make pants with legs like this wide, not exaggerating, and they would be covered in straps and weird spangles and stuff. And they're still really popular. A lot of these are not technically rave pants, but something like that probably sold for around 50 bucks. I know that there was an offer accepted. I wouldn't be shocked if these sold for 50. They're black. That's pretty close to a legitimate rave aesthetic. This is stretching. I mean, Old Navy didn't make any rave pants, but people are just fitting that in with the keyword. Why is that? That rave must be in the description or something for that one. Same here. Like if you were at a rave doing whippets with your boys and someone clocked you wearing these, they wouldn't think Old Navy. So it makes sense that someone would spend, what? How much did it sell for? Almost $100 for these. Good Lord. Rave, very good keyword, don't abuse it. Or at least not too much. Perry Ellis. One of the assiest. A brand that I was looking at because I think maybe once I found like a shirt or two that had some crazy pattern on it. that I flipped, but otherwise just universally passed on them. 60 to 126 for linen pants. Linen pants. I've talked about this before. Excuse me for burping in your face. Typically are in pretty good demand and worth above average money, and typically perform a lot better than linen shorts or shirts because for whatever reason, people just do not make as many linen pants. They're a niche item compared to those other two. Linen is kind of niche to begin with, especially 100% linen. 100% linen is almost always worth more than linen blend. Even though IMO, IMHO, it is less comfortable to wear. Possibly. Anyway, linen pants are good. Look at these prices, 25 bucks for these Perry Ellis Portfolio linen pants. Totally decent, totally decent. If I found these for $2, $3, it makes complete sense. If you don't need to flip them right away, if you're willing to roll the dice. Again, these are not universal purchases. 50% sell-through is not phenomenal. These sale price numbers are not phenomenal, but for a lot of people's business model, this does make sense. GH Bass, or Bass if you're a raver. What a stupid ass joke. I'm so sorry. Another brand that I would never touch, except cargo pants. You're seeing these recurring motifs because I would search the sold listings for exceptions to these schema, and I wouldn't find them, and I'd go in and search these key phrases. The camo, the cargo, the Y2K, the rave. I searched Henley a lot. That didn't really pull up any hits, surprisingly. It's because these actually are important, is what I'm trying to say. Cargo pants, GH Bass. Surprised by these, well, that's two pairs. I was about to say surprised by the numbers, but no, I'm not. This is decent. Hiking pants. Yeah, that kind of makes sense. GH Bass is sort of outdoors adjacent, outdoors. So if you find cargo pants, lightweight cargo pants, maybe. Yeah, it's not a huge stretch to list those as hiking pants. Let's try this instead of just wildly speculating. 26 to 66. I think that's about the same. Yeah, roughly. Maybe a little less. Anyway, cargo hiking pants. You get the picture. Chore jacket, hey, our old buddy, the chore jacket. 10 to 14, pretty decent. And you're seeing the zest, the sparkle in the eye of the chore jacket key phrase. That's a chore jacket, 4 pockets. They don't have to be these flappy cargo pockets, but conspicuous pockets on the front. Oh, it's got like a leather collar. Wonder if it has elbow patches. Nope. Anyway, yeah, that's a handsome jacket, a well-appointed jacket. Makes sense that that flipped for probably around 50 bucks. Here is, let's do this. Yeah, that's about what you're gonna get. At tops, looks like around 50. People are not gonna spend more than 50 bucks for GH Bass. And then with these heavier jackets, you do have to keep in mind the shipping costs. Yeah, another garage sale item. Maybe you find it for 10, you haggle the guy down to 5. Who else is gonna buy a shitty jacket? Nobody, just you. GH Bass, duck. This is a mystery to me. This is one of those bolos that I did find just by looking at the solds. And I just happened to search GH Bass duck because I thought that that was like a subline. Maybe it is, but for some reason it's crazy demand. Just GH Bass stuff with duck in the title. Like, I'm not seeing any through line here. I looked at the tags, they didn't say duck. They're not duck fill. So what is the duck thing? I think they might make duck boots. So people are just squirreling in the keyword. You too can sell GH Bass & Co. duck stuff I have no explanation. Greg Norman is a ass golf brand that I assumed would probably just be completely useless. There's a good rule of thumb with golf polo shirts, golf clothing, like golf pants, shorts too, but really it's the polo shirts that if they're super loud, obnoxious, gaudy graphics, patterns, especially if they're representational, if it's like cartoon characters or something, really, really flashy. If you're smoking cigars at the club, the golf club, is that what they call them? I think, the golf societies, and you want to signal to everybody else that you're a little crazy and you did acid one time back in college, then you wear a shirt like this. And even though it's Greg Norman and Reebok, apparently, maybe that's what sold it. Now I'm looking at it. But you see, like, that is so very 90s to my eye. Maybe 80s? Probably 90s. I'm thinking 90s. The pattern sold it. Maybe it wasn't a cool golfer. Maybe that was our friend the Raver that picked it up. Oh, this was also Reebok. Maybe, hold on. Greg Norman, Reebok Polo. 39 to 94. That's not terrible. I would have included that. I am including that in this video. And look, it's all this crazy graphic stuff. So if you find, what I'm trying to say is if you find these golf polo shirts that are in an ass brand, but they're all crazy, then use your reseller's intuition to tell you if it's worth picking up, especially if it's in a bigger size. But yeah, I would buy that, probably, especially since it's vintage. Wouldn't you buy that? I think we would all buy that. Club Room. 480. Oh, the cashmere. Yeah, I'm kind of cheating here. I knew that this was going to be okay. Yeah, Club Room is a Costco brand. I'm pretty sure, or it's sold at Macy's. I don't know. It's not great. It's an ass brand. The one thing in Club Room that I would always pick up when I found it was cashmere, 100% cashmere. And you can find 100% cashmere Club Room stuff, or at least I could, relatively frequently, like surprisingly frequently. It's one of those fabrics that you can develop a feel for, and it's amazing, like the fake cashmere, the rayon, is surprisingly close in terms of the texture to actual cashmere, the fuzzy cashmere. But if you can brush your hand along a row of, like if you're a men's clothing seller, you can do this if you develop your tactile feel well enough. You can just go through a women's row and just brush your hand along and feel for luxury fabrics. If you go slowly enough, you're probably gonna miss a lot, but it does actually work. Cashmere is one of those fabrics. And you can visually scan for stuff, certain things. Anyway, Club Room cashmere, decent. And why is it only showing 60? What? Don't streamline. It's so crazy how it does that. We've streamlined your search results to show you the best listings. And then there's 400, 420. Extra. That made making the Menswear Manifesto incredibly frustrating. One of many reasons. So Club Room cashmere is good. It's not great. Even the 100% cashmere stuff like this. Don't hang it on a hanger like this for long periods of time. Hopefully this person isn't doing that because it holds, the fabric has memory, so that's going to create a weird bump. Sometimes if you have a bumpy sweater like this, if you just lay it flat, the fabric will restrict back in on itself naturally. Sometimes that actually works, sometimes it doesn't. Anyway, don't do that. But yeah, it's all right. Another thing that you can do with junk cashmere, if you find it with holes and stains and stuff, if you point it out to the people at the thrift store, sometimes they'll give it to you for like $1. And then you can just throw it in a box and you collect this junk cashmere until you have a bunch of it, and then you can sell it as a crafting lot. And the market at least used to be really good. Crafting lot. It's not going to be in men's clothing. Oh, okay. Thank you for streamlining. All right, we're going to do pre-owned. Good Lord, man. 220. Maybe I'm being owned here. The streamlined results. Maybe we need the streamlined results. We'll go with it for now. 73 to 66. So you can see it's pretty good. Like this, if you got each of these for $1, it's $5 buy cost, flip for 36. You can't do it right away unless you find it all right away. But I would go to the bin so much that I would just accumulate this junk cashmere. I had a big gob of it, flipped it for like $50 after a few trips. You too can harness this power. These are not the best brands. If you want the best brands, I made this, the Menswear Manifesto V5. This is a massive guide, 179 pages long, to over 400 Bolo brands. These are all the best brands in menswear that I know of. And I broke them all down one by one, painstakingly. It is like going to 100 dentists at once, stretched over the course of a month of solid work to make these things. Anyway, I did it. It was a couple months back, probably about 3 months back at this point. So now take this info with a bit of a grain of salt, double check my work a little bit more now because more time has elapsed. Still super useful. We'll give you the rundown category by category of what was selling in high demand and what wasn't. And then I editorialize here. Once again, I'm pointing. You can't see it, but I'm pointing. The italics are me talking about my observations and experiences of selling these brands and what is currently selling, what's best avoided. And then some of these big brands, like I think we're close to Levi's, I go through and I get super detailed about the stuff that's valuable, isn't valuable, and I will do things like this, break down each cut of jeans based on sell-through rate. I did all this by hand, no AI, no automation, I didn't have any helpers. I probably should have had a helper, honestly, but it was all your boy. There's a link in the description that'll take you here. It's a pay what you want product, meaning figure out what you think that this is worth for you and then type that in here. I'm asking for 20 bucks. In my opinion, 20 bucks is a super steal. Someone gave me $1,000 for this version. I'm not expecting you to give me $1,000. I think that was cumulatively a lot of selling from the manifesto over the course of a couple of years. I don't really know the story. Thanks to everybody, by the way, who has actually bought the manifesto. I really appreciate it. It goes a long way. I'm in Vietnam at the moment, and 20 bucks pays for my food for an entire day, like more than a day, pays for my food for a couple days. So I asked 20 bucks. You figure out what you think it's worth, give me that. And you'll be off to the damn ass races. Thanks for watching. Hope that this helps, and I will see you on the next one.